time it takes an extra 20 seconds to close the gate, because we are vigilant in our security of external forces that come against our house. We have a policy, better safe than sorry. So knowing that we're vigilant to physical protection of our family, the eternal question remains, who is guarding what enters their spirits? You guard what enters your doors, but there are doors in your children, in their heart. There's doors in your wife, in your mother's heart. There's doors in your family's life. And who is guarding what enters their spirits? You need to know what music your children are listening to. You need to know what website, what they're doing with the computer. You need some oversight. Who is guarding what's entering their spirits? I don't understand. Some people have asked questions. I don't understand all the liberty that's given to kids. Uh-oh, I've got out of my notes again. Jesus, help me. I don't understand all the legal. Some people ask me, why do your kids do what they do? I said, because they weren't given an option. It's that or a beating. And guess what? They'd rather do something even that they don't want to do than a beating. You say, you would really? Well, I think they probably know that I would. If they defy me, if I said, you are going to attend this event, and they didn't go, if they said they were coming to sell, and I found out from Brother Wai Keong that they weren't showing up, you don't think there's physical repercussions from that? You just need to come and join my family a little bit. And you say, well, okay, Megan is 20. She's not a child anymore. But guess what? I'm not going to spank her with a belt, but I'll cut off her allowance. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's other ways to discipline. As the protector of the home, I'm doing more than just keeping burglars out. I have to protect the security of what's entering my children's heart. And one of the things that I insist upon, there are things, I grew up in a home where things were not optional. I didn't learn this on my own, okay? But my dad grew up in a chaotic household. My mother grew up in a household where that they did not have, her father died when she was young, and they did not have strong father influences. And so when my dad started his family, he wasn't an expert at it. He didn't even have a model to go by. But he had something in his heart and his mind that he said, I am going to teach character. Character is the most important. And character, things about character, is you do what you say you do. You show up when you say you show up. You follow through with what you said that you would do. If you shake hands on a deal, it's a deal. Even if you found out later it's not comfortable, you don't go back on your word. That you go to church not because you feel like it, but because it's the right thing to do. You're faithful, you don't miss. My parents weren't educated. There was just some simple things. And what encouraged me to kind of follow that line was me and both of my sisters are in church serving God, living for God. It's being passed on to another generation. It was good enough for my grandmother. It was good enough for my mother and my father. And it's good enough for me. And I'm believing that it's going to be good enough for my kids. And so our best protection for our families will be realized when we purify our hearts toward God and sensitize our spirits to the deceptions of the enemy. When we are clouded in our walk, our judgment will be clouded as well concerning those around us. So I'm coming back. Who's guarding what enters their spirits? But now I'm bringing it down to personal. The best protection for our families. If I want to best protect Michaela and Barrick and Megan and Barbara, I am telling you that the best protection that I can give them is to first purify my heart and sensitize my spirit to any possible deceptions that might be going on in my life. Because if I am desensitized to my own spiritual situation, if I am somehow unplugged or not, I'm not getting it, then if I'm clouded in my judgment in any way, you see what scares me is you can be anointed and not have a clue. You can, now, it's kind of getting technical. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about my mind quickly goes to Saul. Saul was the anointed of God. There was a time when the anointing was upon him. And as long as he was alive, God still considered him his anointed, but he was not living anointed life. Do you understand? If you were ever anointed, God doesn't take back that. He doesn't say, well, I changed my mind. You're not anointed anymore. But you can quit walking in your anointing. You can quit acting like an anointed. And Saul got away from his sensitivity to God so much that when a prophet could ask him, did you do what God said to do? He could say, yes. And the prophet Samuel said, well, let's see. God said, go kill Agag, wipe out everything, cattle, everything. Bah, meh, moo. And Samuel goes, if you did what God told you to do, what is that mooing and bang and bah? Oh, you don't know the difference? Bah and bah. That's the difference between goat and sheep. Goat go bah, sheep go bah. It's true. You listen next time. Go to the petting zoo, check it out. In other words, my point is, Saul was delusioned into thinking that everything was fine. From his perspective, he thought he was doing great. So it's possible to be desensitized, and if you are desensitized to your situation, then you can't, your judgment is clouded in your life, then it's going to be clouded in your family's life. You're not going to be able to give the guidance and the protection that they need. Because if I have issues, I'm never going to properly be able to be the spiritual leader of my family. Let me say, how can we guard the purity of our home when our presence introduces pollution? How can we discipline when we are undisciplined? How can we bring light when we are in darkness? How can we provide clarity and accuracy when we ourselves are deceived? You can try, but it won't be received by your family. We are influencers. They, who's they? Our family, people around us, they see us every day. They live with us. They love us. You know what I found out? And they even tolerate us in our inconsistencies.